Broadcast Center. He made a big announcement today. The former House Minority Whip, I believe, is in the building. The honorary chair of the Trump campaign,
Hi.
Joe Trillo.
Good to see you.
Thanks for coming in. I appreciate
Glad
it.
to be here.
How do you like the studio?
Very nice. This is like the Today Show.
It is kind of like the Today Show. I had called for us to put the window in the background, but I was vetoed.
Really?
Well, we've got the screen here. We just had someone Skype in. It was, we can do a lot with stuff. And then, of course, the old media over here,
Right.
the
right,
Philco.
Right.
But
Very nice.
I know you've been on the media circuit, and I'm going to drag you over here to this red piece of tape. You made a big announcement today.
Well, I said that we should start to boycott people who are going against our president. And it's mainly just the stars from the entertainment community. It's not just boycotting people for their right to speak. I have a problem with going to a performance and sitting in the performance, paying to see a performer, and having that performer preach to me about their political aspect, what they think is bad about Donald Trump.
You're talking about, say, a Hamilton.
Well, Hamilton's a good example where they took an opportunity to preach to the vice president. Wrong. You can't do this. You're going to an event to see something, in this case, a play. Perform for us. We're not interested in your political views. At least I'm not, and I think a lot of the Trump supporters are not. And this would go both ways. If this was happening to Obama at the level it's happening to Trump, I would still be against it.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Obviously, I'm sure you've gotten a lot of feedback today, and some folks have said, well, it's their free speech. They can say what they want.
I'm not trying to infringe on their free speech. Say whatever you want. Don't bring me into a venue where I am paying to hear you sing and you want to tell me jokes. I didn't come here to hear your jokes. I came here to hear you sing.
So when did you decide that you were going to come out with this pronouncement to have this boycott?
Been thinking about it a long time, maybe 4 or 5 weeks. I said, let me come out with it right now. Let's see where it can go. I'd like to see it go across the country. I'd like the Trump supporters to get on board with it and boycott those stars, those events, those movie pictures, those performances where the stars have been outspoken in their venues.
Now, what's the reaction been since you made this release today? As I said, I'm sure you've been on a whirlwind since this.
It's been crazy. It really has.
What's the reaction you've gotten?
The reaction has been up and down. It depends on who you talk to. I would say a lot of people are saying they support my idea. A lot of people have been very critical of it. So it seems to be a hot button issue, and I'm glad that it's making people think about stuff. But I take it even further. Let's go to the late night television. I turn on late night television and I want to watch the Jimmy Kimmel show or the Fallon show, and I'm going to listen to them slam the president with their jokes for 20 minutes. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be watching the show and you slide that in. The same way I didn't watch the Grammys, I didn't watch the Academy Awards, because I'm there to watch the program for the value that program is supposed to deliver. Don't use it to politically grandstand and tell me what your political thoughts are. I don't care what you think. I usually, in the press release, I said about Madonna. Madonna, why would I want to listen to anything Madonna has to say? She's a performer. Perform and sing and do what supposedly you do best.
Now, these celebrities clearly are very wealthy. Most of them that are wealthy individuals. Yeah. Do you think this will have an impact?
They're limousine liberals. That's what I call them. They go back to their palaces that are worth $30 to $50 million, and they lock their gates so that the average person can't come in. So they speak out of one side of their mouth the way they think, and then the way they live is two different things.
But do you think a boycott will have a financial bottom line impact on these
It
celebrities?
certainly would if it were to catch hold. You would finally begin to see some of these performers begin to realize that it's going to hurt me financially. Guess what? Let me get out there and sing. Let me get out there and do comedy. And let me not divide my audience. Everybody has a trade. And I'm not trying to pick on anybody, but Robert De Niro, typical example. I used to respect him as an actor. I still respect him as an actor, but I won't go see another one of his movies.
Now, you're not just the average person putting out this proposal, the honorary chair of the Trump campaign here in Rhode Island. You've got folks in Washington. Are you going to be on the phone talking with folks around the country about this?
Well, hopefully it'll catch on. We'll see where it goes. Today was the first day it came out. It had quite a bit of interest in the state. If it goes no bigger than the state of Rhode Island. We have a play coming up, Hamilton at the PPAC. It's a very popular show. If you're a Trump supporter, I say don't go. Don't go. Send a message. They think it's going to be sold out. Maybe it will be, but I won't be there.
So are you going to be keeping tabs on an event-by-event basis?
I'm going to put together a list of some of the more egregious stars and events and stores that have been very offensive to this president.
And again, I know I asked you about it, but the opposition to this saying, I don't know, I'm sure there's been any number of things. It's un-American. We shouldn't do this. And Joe shouldn't be doing this. Again, what do you say to the folks who don't agree with what you're doing?
Hey, you don't agree with me. That's your right. That's your right to not agree with me. I'm very used to it, having served 16 years in the General Assembly as a Republican. I'm used to having people not agree with me. So if you don't want to agree with me, don't agree with me. I'm trying to talk to the Trump supporters out there. These are the people who work to get him elected. These are the people who respect him as our president. We need to send a message to the people who are trying to tear him down every single day. And the message should be, it's going to cost you financially if you use your stardom to hurt our president.
And again, former minority whip, getting right back into the politics here.
Well,
do you want to get back into the political arena?
You never know.
You never know.
You never know. At this point in time, we're a long way off from anything. I've always enjoyed politics. I felt like 16 years was long enough. I wanted to time limit myself out of the General Assembly. But we'll see what happens down the road.
I mean, we're practically in cycle for 18 already. Emily's List already came out and endorsed Governor Raimondo 20 months ahead of the election. What does that say?
Well, it says that you're premature in doing something like that because a lot of time can happen. Governor Raimondo has made misstep after misstep after misstep, and I know I'm not here to talk about it, but telling people that you have to wait a year before we fix the UHIP computer program is just absolutely pathetic due to the fact that we have people that aren't getting their benefits, aren't getting services that they had, and now you're going to tell them it's going to be a year before we get it fixed. You know what that's doing? That's telling the press and it's telling the people, shut up and don't bother me on this issue for a year. Governor Raimondo, guess what? You don't have a right to do that to the people. You better get it fixed, or that's going to really haunt you.
Okay, as I said, looking already at 18, there had been speculation. Had the presidential race turned out differently, perhaps her political aspirations would have turned out differently, but now all eyes are on 18 here in the state. You said you aren't ruling anything out at this stage, so we'll keep tabs on you to see if you have any future political aspirations. But right now, focused on the boycott.
Focused on the boycott and relaxing a little bit.
What are you doing for relaxing?
I've been going to Florida a little bit and spending some time down there, kind of getting away from the whole rat race of politics.
Getting out a little bit. And we've had a fairly decent winter here.
It has been. Yeah.
I mean, knock on, where's the wood here? It's only March.
And it's like every time I come back, now it's going to get cold now for the next week.
Well, then go back to Florida.
That's right. You go down there and you have 70-degree days.
Go back to Florida. we have a trivia component of our interviews here.
Oh, you didn't tell me about
Oh,
that.
I know. Why would we tell anyone about that? Everyone seems to enjoy it. It's a game called Day Trip. It's a little dated. It mentioned cherry stones in Oakland Beach last time I had it.
Am I gonna need my glasses?
No, I'm going to read the question to you.
Okay.
Pick a card, any card. Okay. Let's see here. Let's ask you. Which island, plundered by French pirates 4 times in the late 1600s and early 1700s, lies 12 miles offshore of Rhode Island?
Block
It's
Island.
Block Island. Some of these questions, I mean, there must be, I don't know how many cards there are in here, but, they probably had to come up with the most mundane trivia that they possibly could. But it's fun, just
It
talking
is
about Rhode
It
Island.
is fun.
It is.
And Block Island happens to be one of my favorite places on earth. It's like a trip back in time. Have you been out
Oh,
there
I
lately?
love Block Island. Oh.
It's like going back to the 50s when you go out there. There's no franchises. There's not a lot of traffic.
It's beautiful. It's
Just a
idyllic.
beautiful place.
So much to offer here. So much to love about Rhode Island, and so much to keep an eye on as well. So that's what we do here at Go Local, and I appreciate your coming in today.
Well, you're doing a great job with this show.
Well,
You've become a natural for it.
well, it's great. It's a great, back and forth of people looking at it live, watching it later, providing feedback. So I appreciate folks tuning in and telling us what they